Number 10. Croatian missing teens. Sometimes when you're just trying to make some bad parkour videos with your buddies and then some sackhead man starts following you around and ruins all the fun. This footage was found in Croatia and it follows two teens that were messing around with a new handy cam when they noticed a strange figure following them. They approached the man and he seemed drunk, so they kind of messed around with him. You can't see his face because he's got a scarecrow-like sack on his head. I think if you see some dude with a creepy canvas bag on his head, then you should just go to bed. Your day has been ruined, nothing can fix it, unless you know a guy who owns like 11 golden retriever puppies. That's the only way you're gonna forget that. Well, this creepy fellow starts chasing these teens and word on the street is that the teens went missing and the footage was discovered by the police. Oh, creepy.
In our number 9 spot today we have this Chernobyl tape. This footage comes to us from the later 1980s when there was a nuclear disaster in Chernobyl. In April of 1986, there was an explosion and a fire from a nuclear reactor at the Chernobyl nuclear power plant. This explosion happened when there was an issue as they were trying to begin an experiment which was set out to actually make the reactor more safe. Unfortunately, the way this reactor was designed placed too much responsibility in the hands of the operator. One thing led to another, and it was a huge disaster. The amount of radiation in the air caused alarms at the Forsmark nuclear power plant in Sweden, which was over 1,000 kilometers away. So it certainly wasn't anything to take lightly. The footage I'm about to show you is just a small glimpse into what things looked like soon after the explosion happened. I can't imagine how scary this must have been for everyone involved. Chernobyl today is still pretty much a ghost town, but there are actually people who still live there. Some of them never even left. In our number 8 spot today we have this MILGRAM experiment footage. This video comes to us from the 1960s and it is from an experiment known as the MILGRAM experiment. Basically, the premise was that they took two groups of people, one called teachers and one called learners, and then they paired them up, one from each group. The pair couldn't actually see each other, but the teacher would ask the learner a question. If the learner got the question wrong, the teacher was then told to give them an electric shock. Every question that they got wrong, the shocks got worse and worse and worse until there would eventually be a fatal shock administered.
This one will be 195 volts. The correct one.
Let me out of here.
Slow. Dance.
Let me out of here. My heart bothers me.
Before the experiment, it was only proposed that 3% of the participants would go all the way and actually give the fatal shock, but it turned out that under pressure, 65% of the teachers actually gave the lethal dose of electricity to their learner counterparts. Luckily, the learners were actually just actors, so no one was truly getting hurt or shocked to death in this experiment, but it honestly is still very creepy and very disturbing to see these poor people being pushed so far past their boundaries.
You're gonna get a shock, 180 volts.
I can't stand the pain. Let me out of
You
here.
can't stand it. I'm not gonna kill that man, eh? I mean, who's gonna take the responsibility if anything happens to that gentleman?
I'm responsible for anything that happens here. Continue, please.
In our number 7 spot today, we have this Willowbrook State School footage. This video comes from a place called the Willowbrook State School and is one of the most upsetting things I think I have ever seen in my life. Willowbrook was located in the Willowbrook neighborhood of Staten Island, New York, and it operated from 1947 to 1987, and it was a school for children with learning disabilities. Unfortunately, at this time, children with learning disabilities were treated horribly, and the children at this school suffered greatly. The school was only meant to have 4,000 kids, but it had 6,000 by 1965, which caused a huge overcrowding problem. There were outbreaks of hepatitis, mostly hepatitis A at the school, which caused there to be some medical studies done at the school. These medical studies should have been a positive thing, but things took a dark and disturbing turn when the researchers decided that the right thing to do would be to feed 60 healthy children a live sample of the virus. I can't even believe that there was a moment that people thought, wow, what a great idea, but it happened, and obviously the children suffered greatly. I'm not gonna show any of the footage on here in this video because it really just isn't for everyone to watch, and the fact that they're children really makes it even more uncomfortable than it already is, but it is on the internet if you choose to go and watch it on your own time. In our number 6 spot today, we have this Bigfoot caught on tape video. This video is said to have caught the Russian Bigfoot on tape. Before I get into this one, I have a genuine question. Is there a Bigfoot for every place, or is there one Bigfoot that we're all trying to catch? I know Bigfoot isn't real, but I'm just wondering, what is the deal with that? Anyways, the exact location of where this video was taken is unknown. In fact, there isn't a ton known about this video at all, but what is known is that it was taken somewhere in Russia, and that people believe it captures the real Bigfoot. It's a short clip, so I'm just gonna show you guys, and you can decide what you think for yourselves. What do you guys think that was? If Bigfoot is real, I bet he's really tired of everyone trying to snap a video of him. In our number 5 spot today, we have this red door video. This is some more hospital footage because one is just never enough. This video starts off with just a flickering light, but as the person filming walks down the hall, the red door at the end begins to open and slam shut repeatedly. Once they reach that red door that was opening and slamming shut, they realize that nothing is there and that the door doesn't actually go anywhere. It is just the door that leads to the pipes that supply water in case of an emergency. The people filming start inspecting it to see what could have caused the opening and closing when they begin to hear banging coming from another door further down the hallway. They go to check it out, but they find nothing and no one again. Honestly, you guys, when I saw that red door didn't lead to anywhere, I was so upset. Like, I honestly don't know how they could have faked this one. I hate it. I don't want it to be real. In our number 4 spot today, we have this really old footage. Okay, so this one is an interesting one. It's not necessarily super creepy like ghosts, and it doesn't have a crazy, scary background to it, but it honestly made me feel uncomfortable while I was watching it. This video comes from some of the oldest recorded footage we have, which is kind of cool. I found this video in a montage of a bunch of happy footage that is also really old, and this one really stood out to me. The video shows 2 wealthy women handing out change to poor children, but it's quite a sight. These children are so small and running around collecting the change off the ground, and it's really sad to watch. In our number 3 spot today, we have this witch caught on tape. This video comes from Mexico and is said to be a sighting of a witch flying through the air. The people who recorded the video said that they could see that the figure was wearing a cape, which is why people assumed a witch. Just to add another layer of mystery to this already kind of strange video, police officers from the area also explained that they had seen some sort of witch-like creature in the area before this footage was captured. They said that they saw some sort of creature dressed in all black with huge claws and that they had their head hanging down. I am not exactly sure what all of these people saw, but it's definitely a video that left me with an eerie feeling. In our number 2 spot today, we have this historic home tape. This footage came from a camera that was found at a historic home by a company that works specifically with historic homes. The footage shows a few people just exploring around this abandoned home, checking out whatever there is going on in this creepy house. We don't get to see what it is, but something very obviously freaks them out, and they're pretty scared while filming, and then something weird happens.
This door is like pizza.
Hello?
This is where the footage from this camera ends, and then the rest of the video is footage from another camera that was found at the same location and clearly belongs to the same group of people. The audio is pretty distorted at some parts, which really adds to how creepy the video already is.
I'm going back.
I'm not exactly sure what happened or who these people are, but something spooky was definitely going on in that house. In our number 1 spot today, we have this dash cam footage. This video is obviously from someone's dashboard camera as they are driving one night, but I doubt they were expecting to capture what they did. As they are driving, they see something that they are about to hit, but it comes up at the last second, really out of nowhere. Obviously, this was very strange, so he goes back to scope out the situation further when he sees this. Did you guys see that ghostly figure just waltzing across the road like it didn't just get hit by a car? I guess the ghost probably doesn't care, but what the heck. Definitely not what I expected to see on a dash cam. That's for sure. Starting up this list in our number 10 spot. Okay, so at the beginning of this video, while nothing super creepy happens, the whole vibe of the video is just unsettling. There's like some sort of puppet looking doll who seems like maybe they're hosting a children's show. They ask if you would like to sing with them, and then they begin singing Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, which should just be harmless, right?
Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder where you are. Please do come again.
After the song ends and the screen fades to black, the exact same sequence repeats. The screen then fades to black again, and the sequence begins again, but this time the puppet has no eyes and ends up not singing the song at all, but just looking creepy with its no eyes.
Oh, hi. Sure is dark out. Would you want to sing with me?
We then hear some sort of alarm sound as a strange sort of photograph barely comes across the screen. If this wasn't enough, to end off the video, we just see the puppet's head floating with an extremely disturbing smile on its face. The audio is a little distorted, but it's telling some weird story about their dad and them asking for a toy, but their dad says no.
Can I have a toy? No. He says, you're a bad boy.
All in all, I have no idea what is going on in this video, but I feel like I might be cursed after watching it.
Number 9. Australian missing teens. We got even more missing teens. Man, I'm glad when I was a teen, I spent my time sitting in the same spot on the couch watching Simpson reruns and not looking for adventure. I was fat back then, so I would have been the first one to go if anything went down. Well, this footage was a pretty big deal as it was shown on the Australian news. It follows 4 teens filming themselves at night. They go on a little journey around the Australian countryside. They eventually come to a fence where one of them says they can hear a noise on the other side of the fence. As they approach the fence, they see a sign that says private property, but nothing's gonna stop this bunch of curious adolescents, so they decide to disregard the sign, hop over the fence, and proceed to check things out. Not too long after that, the video cuts out. The 4 of them were never seen again, and the missing persons case is open to this day. Whoa. Number 8. Penthurst footage. When I see an old rundown mental institution, the first thing I think is, man, I should get some pals and we should go exploring. I wonder how many magical wonders are inside. I bet there's pentagrams, ghosts, black mold just waiting to take hold of my lungs. Well, these kids wanted to do just that for whatever reason. They went into the Penthurst Mental Institution in Pennsylvania. This place has a horrible past. It used to be a mental institution for children, and there are endless reports about abuse that would happen happen to the kids that were staying at this place. The people who worked there would abuse these kids on a regular basis, and the living conditions were almost impossible to endure, completely unimaginable. The place is now abandoned, but it's still a cornerstone for supernatural activity. The camera with the footage on it of the kids was found outside the institution, and so far it hasn't been linked to any person, so it's unknown if the kids went missing or if they just dropped their camera. Number 7. Leonard Lake. This one is very disturbing. In 1981, Leonard Lake met Charles Ng, and the two would go down in history for committing some horrible crimes. The two would kidnap people and take them to a cabin in the Sierra Nevada region in California. Lake had built a dungeon next to the cabin where he would keep his prisoners. They would keep people there as slaves for a time before they would kill them. It's suspected that the two killed somewhere between 11 to 25 people. Many of their interactions with these people were documented in journals and on videotape. When the two were arrested, the tapes were used to convict Charles. However, Leonard Lake did not see justice. This one is pretty dark, and I would only look into it if you're one of those people who only listens to murder podcasts. Number 6. Bjork stalker tapes. Man, being famous must be hard. You don't get any privacy. You're constantly being critiqued by people who haven't accomplished anything close to what you have, and sometimes stalkers you've never met will think you're soulmates and try to kill you. These tapes follow Ricardo Lopez. He was an exterminator who was living in the States and obsessed with the artist Bjork. When he found out that she had entered into a new relationship, he went off the rails. He started making video diaries of himself all about his plan to kill Bjork. He then made a sulfuric acid bomb and mailed it to Bjork. After he did this, he went home and filmed his own suicide. His logic was that the bomb would kill Bjork, he would kill himself, and the two would meet up in heaven. Thank God mail is slow, because after a few days his body started to rot and someone complained about the smell. Police came in, found the tapes, and were able to intercept the bomb.
Acceptable. I wanna be the biggest influence on her life, the man, person who, the most influential, the most important person who changed her life more than anybody else, okay? The guy who took her life, okay?
Number 5. Yemen couple. You can't even enjoy a nice lakeside honeymoon with your wife without something going horribly wrong. I think for my honeymoon, I just want to go somewhere in the sun where I can get drunk and basically forget the whole thing and have everyone tell me that I had a good time, but I can't remember because I was too drunk the whole time. This couple probably wanted that. They set up a camera at the edge of a lake and the two jumped in. It seemed like a nice time, but out of nowhere, they both get sucked under. You see some splashing and a hand pop out of the water. The camera was found by someone walking by, and the footage was uploaded to YouTube and went viral. Holy crap, that would suck. Going viral after you die? You don't even get your 15 minutes of fame. It's unknown what happened to the couple or where their bodies are. I'm gonna say it was a lake monster. That's all I got. Number 4. The Paris catacombs. I bet you guys think Paris is super romantic with all the cheese and wine and accordions. Well, did you know that underneath Paris is a series of catacombs that are filled with dead bodies? There was a time in Paris where the graveyards were so overrun with dead bodies, so they started stuffing them down there. And we got some footage from down there. It's thought that this footage is from somewhere in the 90s, and it has a guy just exploring the place on his own. Super smart idea. Just wander around a maze full of dead bodies, no backup. In the footage, he comes across some paintings and then sees something that frightens him so bad he drops his camera and starts running. It's unknown what he saw, but the creepiest thing I've heard is that he came across the gates of hell. What's the matter with this guy? Why would he go looking through catacombs when there's literally an endless supply of croissants right above him? Also, it's unknown what happened to this man. He might have got eaten by a monster, or maybe he's eating croissants. Number 3. Lost at sea. This one has so many angles to it. So I'll start with what the footage looks to be. It shows 4 men in the water holding onto some debris while a tuna fishing boat fires shots at them. This was filmed right off the coast of Fiji. The footage was investigated by the Fijian police after it went viral on YouTube. Some people say that the people floating in the water were Fijian and being attacked damaged by this tuna boat for whatever reason. The police said that the people in the water were Somali pirates. They tried to hijack the tuna boat and then failed. I think I have no idea what's going on because the footage is grainy as hell. It looks like it was filmed on a 1998 Samsung tape recorder by me when I was 4 years old and touching the lens with my Pop-Tart covered fingers. If you have more info on this, write in the comments below because that's all I got. This one is all over the place. Number 2, missing diver. Hey guys, take it from me. I used to teach scuba diving. If you ever want to go super deep and check out some really crazy stuff, just don't. It's really dark down there, you can't see, and the whole point of going scuba diving is to look at cool fish and then have a beer afterwards. If there's no beer afterwards, the dive is basically pointless. Well, this diver died trying to go too deep in the blue hole in the Red Sea. He got to around 300 feet underwater when he started to get a heavy nitrogen narcosis. This is where the air you're breathing literally makes you high. The air is so compressed from the surrounding water pressure that your lungs fill up with more nitrogen molecules on every breath, so it makes you feel like you're wasted. Imagine being wasted 300 feet underwater. Well, this guy gave it a shot and he didn't make it back. Number 1, Boy Scouts. If there's anything you should learn from this one is don't put your kids in the Boy Scouts. Just let them stay home and play Fortnite. You can trust Fortnite. These tapes were found in the home of Anatov Slivka. He was the leader of a group of Boy Scouts in Soviet Russia, and he was actively killing people between the years of 1964 and 1985. He would convince one of the smaller boys in the group to come back to his home, where he would perform a spine-stretching experiment on them. All of these gruesome acts were taped, and when he was arrested by police, the footage was used against him to put him to death.
Starting off in our number 10 spot, we have this hospital security footage. This video is surveillance footage from a hospital, which is for sure one of the worst places to have creepy, unexplainable things happen. Everything looks all fine and dandy before something weird starts kind of flashing in the middle of the screen. It's kind of hard to see, but it looks like it could be some sort of human figure. Okay, so maybe it's just a camera glitch, I'm willing to look past it and pretend like it never happened, but then this one gurney just starts moving all over the place, but no one is around at all. If it only moved a little bit, I would be like, yeah, okay, for sure, whatever, but that was just way too much for me to just ignore. I'm gonna say it, you guys. I think that it was a ghost. Moving on to number 9. This video comes from someone who took a video searching around a place called Satan's Bridge. It begins with someone showing a bunch of animal carcasses, which obviously I'm not gonna show here, that have just been left around from possible sacrifice ceremonies that may have taken place in this area. He continues to search the place and ended up recording some footage that I think does an amazing job at capturing the uncomfortable feeling that this place holds. I wish I could know all of the stories that this bridge holds, but I feel like it may be for the best that they remain hidden. The guy filming finds some more evidence of things that could point to satanic rituals being held, and honestly, I'm impressed that he was able to stick around exploring for so long, because I would have been out of there immediately. Moving on in our number 8 spot. The people who posted this video explained that they received coordinates on the dark web. When they traveled to the coordinates, they found this tape that we're going to be talking about, as well as a collection of other things, all said to belong to a killer. I feel like this tape would have still been creepy without knowing the backstory, but it is 1,000 times creepier having those details. The video is fairly long, and while not a lot happens in it, there's certainly something sinister going on. It is basically just a video of a guy digging a hole with a shovel. We hear him in his car as he arrives at the location, we hear him digging, and you can even see him pick up an object wrapped in a black garbage bag and put it into the hole. You can't really see him. In fact, you can't see much, but there's definitely enough to know what is going on. I have to say is I really hope that this video is fake. Moving on to number 7. You guys, I'm not gonna lie, I have absolutely no idea what is going on in this video, and I don't even know if I want to find out. First, it starts off with another puppet named Sophia, and then suddenly cuts to this creepy masked figure. What was that? Again, I have no idea. We then cut to some blurred out creepy clown face that is calling for someone named Macy, and honestly, I hope Macy runs in the opposite direction.
Macy! I order you to come here right now!
The video then cuts to what looks like a tied up clown with more creepy dialogue, and then cuts back to the clown face from before, but is more visible this time. In the end, it cuts back to Sophia, and she asks if we want to sing a song with her, and then that's the end. Honestly, I was happy to reach the end of this video because it had me very creeped out. Moving on to number 6. This video was apparently filmed in 1988 and was found in a scary abandoned log cabin deep in a forest in Poland a few decades later. The footage shows whoever is operating the camera walking around filming the log cabin. They end up getting to an open window and are kind of focused on it and studying it, when all of a sudden, out of the blue, it just snaps shut. At the same time, a paranormal sounding yell can be heard, but no one is around and the camera goes blank. I'm not exactly sure what happened here, but I would have been out of the cabin as fast as I could possibly go. Moving on to number 5. This video comes from 2001 and shows a group of teenagers who are trying to summon a spirit while of course recording it for the camera. They start in a circle all holding hands with their eyes closed and one of their friends in the center of the circle. They're trying to get the spirit to contact them through the friend that's in the middle, but things start to go awry when one of the friends holding hands in the circle collapses.
Então, ai caraças, destino.
At first, his friends think that he's just playing around with them, but then he starts convulsing and everyone gets extremely freaked out. After he gets up from the floor, he is not only acting scary, but his posture has certainly changed, and everyone else who is there is rightfully extremely scared.
Espíritos prontos.
Sustinho. Ó sustinho, caralho, foda-se.
Céu,
Opa, não lhe toque, caraças, diz! Olha as costas dele, meu! Olha as costas dele!
The video shows the rest of the boys being super frightened by their now possessed friend's scary behavior, and they're just trying to figure out what to do.
Até olha, Nelson, desculpa lá, porque a minha filha não pode ser pela estrada, mas deixas aqui o André e o Céu. A gente volta, né? E não tem coragem de ir à procura deles agora com o Fox, né, Gabriel? Eles são meus irmãos, gosto bem deles. Mas fica de dia, pá.
By the end of the video, their real friend has luckily come back to them, but he doesn't remember anything that happened to him. Moving on to number 4. This footage comes from Paraguay. It was taken on a camcorder that had some spots filmed over by other family members. The audio and the video ended up getting blended and corrupted and just left us with this footage that looks like it could be straight out of a horror movie. Because it's so messed up, I really don't know what is going on, but I'll show you some of the video so that you can see what I mean. I don't know why, but that one kid who looks like they're sitting on top of a roof really freaks me out. Coming in at number 3. This video was posted to TikTok by a user named Sarah Turney. I've spoken about Sarah in another video of mine and how she used TikTok to help her close the case of her sister's disappearance. When Sarah was young, her sister Alyssa went missing and no one was ever charged with the crime, but Sarah always knew it was her dad and set out to prove it and have him charged so that she could bring justice for her sister. Sarah released some VHS footage on TikTok that ended up going absolutely viral. Apparently her dad would follow Alyssa around and film her, and later they found out that he had cameras hidden in their house, which is just very bizarre behavior. This video is one of many that Sarah posted on TikTok and shows when her dad followed Alyssa to her fast food job and was sitting in the parking lot filming her. While this video is super creepy on its own, since it's very obvious that she doesn't want to be filmed, it's even more creepy considering all we know now. Luckily, Sarah's TikToks worked. Near the end of 2020, her dad actually ended up being arrested and charged with the disappearance and presumed death of Alyssa, which is a huge win for Sarah. Moving on to number 2. This VHS tape was found at an estate sale that was being held in a barn. The person who uploaded this tape found them among the 10 boxes that they had purchased, among other things such as records, rusted tools, and old paint cans. This video shows someone walking through some sort of mildly wooded area in the daytime, which, okay, yeah, fine. But then it cuts to a night scene and it just really leaves me with an uncomfortable feeling. Absolutely no idea what the white thing being dragged is, but I absolutely do not want to find out. Moving on to our number 1 spot. This video was found under a bridge in Russia. It shows what sounds like a teenager filming the video while riding his bike up to the underside of this bridge. A very strange noise can be heard as he is approaching. This brave soul continues to stick around and investigate the sound further before something pretty scary happens.
Слышите? Ёпта. Сука. Что? Ты кто это? Кто это? Кто это?
I don't know what that sound was or what happened to that boy, but I really hope he made it out of there because that video did not end well.